First of all, today I'd like to thank the Banner and Roy Jean for having me up here today to give you a little bit of my background, and we'll go from there. Of course, my name is Dwayne Trafford, and I'm running for re-election for Caldwell County Coroner's Office. I've been married to my wife, Shannon, and we have 5 children and 5 great-grandchildren together. I've been a coroner here in Caldwell County for 12 and a half years. I've been with the coroner's office for 36 years. 23 and a half of that was as a deputy under the previous administration. And I feel like this has been a calling for me. I believe that God has called me to do this particular job so that I can show families that, while they're grieving in their lowest point in their lives, that, somebody's there to comfort them and let them know that things will be okay. And with the support of the county, I will do my humble and best to keep that and honor families and keep this honor to keep it going for the next 4 years.
Question 1. The majority of citizens are not aware of the duties of the coroner. Would you explain some of the duties of the coroner's office?
Yes. Some of the duties that we perform, first and foremost, we want to get to the manner and cause of death. That's the most important thing is that. Then the next thing, of course, we go to the crime scenes to examine the body and to investigate what has happened. Then we would transfer the body to a secure area for a post-mortem examination. And at that time, we could determine the time and circumstances of the death. Then we would log any evidence that we have, and then we would want to identify that person to make proper notification so that we can get the next of kin notified.
Question 2. In the past, Caldwell County has had 1 or 2 deputy coroners. Do you believe that Caldwell County needs a deputy coroner? If your answer is yes, please explain why and how they should be funded. If your answer is no, please explain why not.
I feel, for the sake of the citizens here in Caldwell County, it's very important that we have actually 2 certified deputy coroners. Should the coroner be out of town, a family emergency, illness, whatever it may be, you always want somebody here that can represent the coroner's office the best that we can. And with having 2 certified deputies, I feel like that we can get that done, and the citizens of this county would not be in any way, shape, or form done wrong. Anything that, in case if I wasn't here, I feel very confident that the one that I have now can go ahead and do what needs to be done as far as that goes. And then also, and if it's funded, or as it's funded through the county government, through the fiscal court, and that way I present a budget each year in April to them, and then that's how it's funded.
Question 3. The state of Kentucky requires 18 hours of continuing education for the coroner. Should there be additional hours required, or is the 18 hours adequate? Would you explain some of the instructions you have or would receive from this training?
Yes, the 18 hours that we get each and every year is more or less a refresher course from the things that we go over, or I've had in the previous years. When I first started, and this is still current, we do a 40-hour class for any new coroner or deputy coroner that comes in. There's a 40-hour class that's a mandatory thing that they have to do when they first get hired. Some of the classes that I'll mention to you that I've had are natural causes, and that being sick or elderly or etc. Then I've also had blood spatter training, juvenile death training, which that is SIDS. And then we've learned how to do toxicology on subjects where we can obtain the samples from the victims that can be sent to a laboratory and helping whatever police agency that might be investigating the death along with us. It gives them more leadway into, or a better leadway into what possibly happened to this person. And like I said, this will aid the law enforcement in their investigation as well, and not only ours, but as well as theirs as well.
Question 4. Do you believe the office of the coroner should be a full-time job and assist the sheriff's office in the capacity as a deputy?
I do not feel at this time that the coroner's office here in Caldwell County should be made a full-time position. We don't have the number of cases as far as a bigger city would. So in my opinion, there doesn't need to be a full-time coroner here in Caldwell County. And then as far as helping the sheriff's office, I do believe that there is a need for the coroner's office to help the sheriff's department. Basically being after administrative hours, we could help them serve papers, transport, whatever might need to be done. But I do think that there is a need there because we're actually sworn officers just like they are. We have the same powers and duties that they have. So I think that basically that would be a big asset to the sheriff's office.
And in closing, is there anything else that you would like to add?
There is. When I first took office, we had a mission statement that still is true today. And I'd like to read that to you. To maintain the high standard of professionalism and integrity in determining and investigating the cause and manner of death. To maintain respect for the grieving families in their time of need. We want the people of Caldwell County to know by our words and actions that we are sincere and loyal to them, and we will give the highest regard to each and every one.
Mr. Trafford, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kevin Lane, candidate for Caldwell County Coroner on the Republican ballot. I am married to Amy Poe Lane of Princeton. I grew up in Caldwell County all my life and was born and raised here. I'm the son of James A. Lane, former deputy coroner for Caldwell County. My mother was Wanda Morris Harris. I have 2 children, 2 sons, Ethan Lane and Jesse Lane, and 1 stepson, Joey Hobby. I just want to ask you to remember me and support me during this election. There's only one reason I'm running for coroner, and that's because I feel that God has called me to do this. Several things have come about to make me realize this decision. And if elected as your next coroner, there's 3 goals that I would promise you right now that will take place. Number 1, I will be in attendance for all physical court meetings within the county to see that the business of the county is how it's conducted and stay informed on what's going on, no matter whether it deals with the coroner's office or not. And number 2, it's my goal to put the coroner's office back in the Caldwell County Courthouse where it belongs. And number 3, last but not least, 100% of my salary will be donated each month to a different cemetery within the county. You can go to my Facebook page, Kevin Lane for Caldwell County Coroner, and there you'll find a list of the first 12 cemeteries starting in the year 2023, starting in January. And then from then on, for the 2024, there will be a committee formed to make a decision on where those funds may be given. Again, thank you for your support.
Question 1. The majority of citizens are not aware of the duties of the coroner. Would you explain some of the duties of the coroner's office?
A lot of people do not realize, but the coroner is a peace officer, a law enforcement officer, sworn in just as the sheriff or police chief or any other peace officer. The coroner does, however, they just determine the cause of death and unexplained unnatural death or natural death when medical attendance is not present. Such things could be suicide, car accidents, sudden infant death syndrome, correctional institution deaths. There is laws that state when and when not to do an autopsy on deceased persons. That would, determine the cause of death and outrule any foul play. The coroner possesses all powers of a duly sworn officer of the laws, again, such as the sheriff, state police. He has the power to search and seize property for evidence and all of that such thing.
Question 2. In the past, Caldwell County has had 1 or 2 deputy coroners. Do you believe that Caldwell County needs a deputy coroner? If your answer is yes, please explain why and how they should be funded. If your answer is no, please explain why not.
It is my belief that we do need at least 1 deputy coroner, just as the president or the governor has a lieutenant governor or a vice president. In the event that the coroner would be sick or anything, there would need to be at least 1 as a backup. So I feel that we should have at least 1 deputy coroner. However, at this time, I do not feel we need more than 1. As the deputy coroner is taxpayers' dollars, and that would be more taxpayers' dollars that the county would be out. The law states that each county is allowed 1 deputy coroner per 25,000 people or residents based on the most recent federal census. Regardless of the population, though, the coroner does have the power to appoint more deputies, but has to be approved through the legislative body, which would be the fiscal court. In order to conserve tax dollars, I don't feel that this would be the need for Caldwell County at this time in order to conserve taxpayers' funds.
Question 3. The state of Kentucky requires 18 hours of continuing education for the coroner. Should there be additional hours required, or is the 18 hours adequate? Would you explain some of the instructions you have or would receive from this training?
As with any job, whether it be a truck driver or a nurse or anything, it's my feeling that you can never have too much training. Myself and my deputy will, by all means, 10 to 18 hours required of training each year. When I see classes available that we might benefit from that are extra, we would certainly consider going to those to keep updated on extra training, and such classes might be for fire deaths, crime scene pathology, case interviews, even just learning how to deal with the media during a case that needed publicity.
Question 4. Do you believe the office of coroner should be a full-time job and assist the sheriff's office in the capacity as a deputy?
So I am 100% against this scenario. The coroner's office should remain its own independent part of the county government. The coroner and deputy already have the full power of any other law enforcement officer. This could potentially cause a conflict of interest. For example, in the case of an officer and involved fatal shooting, the coroner's office would be called to investigate the death. The coroner would need to be unbiased in making decisions for both sides in the incident. By the coroner's office remaining as a standalone office, this would alleviate any favoritism that could be alleged during the investigation.
Is there anything else you would like to add in closing?
I just want to add that it's been a joy to go around to people's houses and shaking hands, and it's been an experience that I will never forget, and I do humbly ask for your vote and most of all your prayers and your support. Thank you all.
Mr. Lane, thank you for your time.